350-pound bear suddenly attacked WALZ, biting her repeatedly and ripping into her body with its claws.
Got all the vibes, yeah, I got all the vibes. I can't let you run, a nigga can't let you run. This rock star life got me on another high. It's fucking with my mind, all these drugs on my mind. I got all the vibes, yeah, I got all the vibes. I can't let you run, a nigga can't let you run. This rock star life got me on another high. It's fucking with my mind, all these drugs on my mind. Getting to the
Good Dark Knight gang in this thing. Gang. Everybody have a good day. Have a great day. Well, right now it's Tuesday night for me, but it'll be Wednesday for y'all. I'm gonna record this a day earlier. You feel me? I'm in a good mood. I just feel like recording videos. You feel me? Anyway, this one right here is titled "When Animals Turn Against Their Keepers." Yeah, man, this is about to be fire. We're gonna see animals go crazy and attack their keepers, bro. This is why you shouldn't try to domesticate like lions and tigers and bears. You feel me? Anyway, I'm ready to hop into this video. Oh, if you could domesticate a panther, I would take a panther. That's why I got my sister's little all-black cat. I nicknamed him Panther. Panthers are beautiful, bro. I'm gonna keep it a stack. What about a cheetah? Cheetah, leopards, they all beautiful. Lions aren't that beautiful. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Cheetahs, leopards, panthers, bro. Tigers, the white tigers. All right, anyway, enough talking about animals. Let's hop into this video. Yo, shout out to the gang. Bro, click the link down below. Check out my music video. Why not? Trust me, it's pretty good. Let's go.
Number 10. Bethany Lynn Stevens. In February of 2018, Virginia woman Bethany Lynn Stevens was viciously mauled to death by her two pet pit bulls.
Wait, by dogs?
The 22-year-old's body was discovered by her father in a wooded area not far from his Goochland home. She'd been missing for 2 days after taking the pit bulls, Tonka and Pac-Man, for a walk. The man said the dogs were aggressively guarding his daughter's remains and that he couldn't get past them. Officers were called to the scene and subsequently described the gruesome discovery.
Okay.
The corpse had been torn to pieces and the pit bulls were still chewing on Stevens' ribs.
What?
There were puncture marks on her skull and traumatic injuries to her throat and face.
What the
county
F?
sheriff claimed he hadn't seen anything like it in
Bro, what did she do to the dogs in order for the dogs to attack her?
nearly 40 years of law enforcement. While some of the young woman's relatives suspected foul play, the coroner ruled it out. Defensive wounds were found on her arms and hands from trying to push back the attacking dogs. It's believed that the pit bulls, which were in her father's care, had been underfed and isolated. The stress is thought to have caused them to turn on Stevens. With the family's consent,
snap.
both pit bulls were euthanized.
Damn.
Number 9.
I ain't never heard of a story like that. That's crazy. She was just trying to take them out for a walk, show them some love. You feel me? And they gonna turn on her and, bro. Pit bulls are actually, generally, they're pretty nice if you raise them correctly, man.
Marius Els. The hippopotamus is one of Africa's most dangerous animals.
Yeah, I
By
heard.
some estimates, the aggressive and unpredictable hippo kills more human beings than any other creature on the continent.
Oh, okay.
It's a massive beast with a brutal bite which, despite its size, can sprint at 20 miles per hour.
Them big
Needless
things
to
running
say
that
that
fast?
such formidable forces of nature wouldn't make good pets. South African farmer Marius Els took his chances and raised a hippo ever since the animal was 5 months old. Els once claimed that Humphrey was like a son to him and even had a lake built for the hippo. He was proud of having developed a relationship with Africa's most dangerous animal. Els would take rides on the back of the 2,700-pound beast. He did note that Humphrey had an aggressive side and would sometimes throw him off. The hippo on one occasion even tried to attack
These animations, bro.
2 canoers. Then in November 2011, Els became his pet's victim in a grisly attack.
All right, what
Its
happened?
exact circumstances are unknown, but it concluded with Humphrey brutally biting into his keeper's body. A hippo's jaws are strong enough to break a crocodile in half, so there was nothing
snap.
that Els could do against
Yeah, it
the
was a
massive
wrap.
beast. His mangled remains were discovered submerged in a river that ran through the 400-acre property. Number 8. Kelly Ann.
But who thinks hippos are cute? Anyway, what made you want a hippo, bruh?
And WALZ.
But no, R.I.P. to the homie.
Kellyanne
That's crazy,
WALZ from Penn.
Nah, you should have known off top though. He said the hippo would get sometimes angry when he would ride him and throw him off. That right there would have been a red flag. I would have been like, hey, this hippo tripping, cuz. To the zoo you go.
Pets capable of taking her life within seconds. Throughout the years, her hilltop menagerie housed a tiger, a mountain lion, a jaguar, and a black bear named Teddy, whom she'd raised since he was a cub.
Oh, she's
One
tripping.
tragic Sunday in October of 2009, WALZ was cleaning Teddy's cage in the same manner she always would. The woman tossed a shovel full of dog food to one side of the cage to keep Teddy busy as she tended to the cage. The 350-pound bear suddenly attacked WALZ, biting her repeatedly and ripping into her body with its claws. The attack was witnessed by her young children and the children of neighbor Scott Castone. As they started screaming, Castone arrived to find the bear atop WALZ. He shot and killed the beast with his handgun, but by that time, the woman had already sustained fatal damage.
Dang, bro. That's crazy right there. You should already know better. In 2009, you could have easily went to the internet and said, hey, man, how safe is it? Google, how safe is it to have these animals? That's
MARVIN HAJOS. When talking about the world's deadliest birds, most of us tend to think about eagles, falcons, or giant owls.
Yeah.
In fact, the title of world's most dangerous bird
Or hawk.
belongs to the flightless cassowary. It stands up to 6 foot 6 inches tall and weighs over 130 pounds. It's not only a giant, but one of its toes features a dagger-like claw of nearly 5 inches.
oh,
Cassowaries can release
bigger than your penis.
powerful kicks and inflict lethal damage with their claws. Even though the risks of owning a cassowary are well known, Florida man MARVIN HAJOS decided that they'd make good pets. Moreover, he believed that breeding them would provide a lucrative business opportunity.
Yeah, all right.
He kept the prehistoric-looking birds in separate pens and would periodically check their enclosures for eggs. It would eventually prove to be a fatal habit. One aggressive female cassowary saw that HAJOS was going for her eggs and attacked him. The hulking bird swiftly brought down the 75-year-old with a powerful leg strike. He was found slumped over between the cassowary enclosures. Paramedics were called to the
75 years
scene
old too.
and were careful in approaching HAJOS as the cassowary was still aggressive. The elderly man succumbed to his injuries while at the hospital. Number 6.
R.I.P.
Mary Matthews. When Dale Matthews arrived to his home in Waynesville, Ohio, he opened the door to a horrifying scene. His wife Mary Matthews had been brutally killed by the family's 2 Great Danes. The woman had been left alone with
I
the
thought
dogs
Great Danes
after her
were
husband was taken
friendly.
to jail a few days prior.
Okay.
It's unclear for how long she'd been dead. The police described her as having an alcohol addiction, and prescription medication was found at the scene. Was also discovered, along with bloody towels, several changes of clothes, and a pair of sweatpants with numerous puncture marks.
Okay.
There was blood on the steps, couch, and even the walls of the home. Matthew's legs were riddled with wounds and a chunk of her ankle was missing. The evidence suggested that after being mauled, she was able to fend off the dogs and get them outside. However, in her altered state of mind, the woman didn't realize the severity of her injuries. Instead of immediately calling the emergency services, Matthews likely tried handling things herself and succumbed to blood loss. The Great Danes may have turned on their owner due to the stress of their living conditions. They were reportedly underfed and mistreated, as the house's deck was completely covered in dog feces. Number 5.
I got a theory, bro. She tried to murder the dogs, and they instead fought for their lives, killed her, and ran out. Now, I don't know if that's what happened, but hey, think about it. She was altered. She was drunk. They probably was barking. They was hungry. It said the deck is covered in feces, so they probably crying. She's like, I'm tired of y'all big dogs always crying. She drunk, so she go out there, shut up. She got a baseball bat, probably swinging at them. And so they protected themselves, you feel me? And they attacked her.
Klaus Redant. At his Indiana farm, Klaus Redant owned several animals that aren't native to North America, including llamas, emus, and ostriches. He was also the keeper of a wildebeest family, formed by a male, a female, and their cub, also known as gnu antelopes. These animals inhabit the African continent. In the wild, they're preyed on by hyenas, lions, cheetahs, and crocodiles. This doesn't mean that these creatures are easy prey. They weigh several hundred pounds and possess large curved horns. Ridant's wildebeest had had their horns removed, but that failed to make them less dangerous. The Indiana farmer was eventually attacked and trampled to death by the wildebeest patriarch. The 500-pound male first delivered a brutal headbutt and then stomped on his keeper. Emergency workers arrived at the farm but couldn't revive Ridant. The official cause of death would be ruled as blunt force trauma to the head and chest. It's still unclear why the man had been charged by the animal so brutally. One theory is that the attack had occurred during the wildebeest mating season, a time when these animals become more aggressive.
See, that's what
it's
I'm
possible
saying.
that the male didn't like the fact that Ridant was in the proximity of his mate and saw him as a threat to be eliminated.
Or he just like, I'm the alpha,
Number 4. Alexandria Hall's neighbors knew that she
Don't show no bunny. Ain't no way he died by a bunny.
had pets,
I mean, she died
such
by
as
a bunny.
birds and rabbits, in her
okay.
Cincinnati home. What they didn't know was that she was also an avid collector of reptiles, including several poisonous snakes. 44-year-old Hall was ultimately bitten by one of the serpents, which was later identified as an URUTU pit viper. According to her neighbors, the woman drove herself to the hospital. The police were surprised that she'd managed to arrive at the emergency room on her own. Unfortunately, she ultimately succumbed to envenomation. The police went to check her house alongside reptile experts from Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Gardens. They found the deadly serpents secured in plastic containers, while non-venomous reptiles were free roaming around the residence. One man was killed and his son was hospitalized after they were attacked by a southern pig-tailed macaque in Malaysia. 22-year-old Muhammad NGAH had been training the monkey to go up trees and fetch him coconuts. In fact, there are schools in Malaysia which train monkeys specifically to retrieve the fruit as a boost to local economy. It's a century-old practice that begins with creating an interest for coconuts in young monkeys and then teaching them movement and verbal commands. The speculation is that NGAH's monkey was slightly too old to train. The macaque attacked its keeper, biting his wrist. In doing so, the animal tore through a major artery, causing the victim to bleed to death. NGAH's son, Maud Zachariah, went to check on him. Upon seeing his father lying on the ground, he was attacked as well. His terrified screams were heard by a passerby who came to his aid. Maud Zachariah was reportedly bitten on the neck, but ultimately recovered from his injuries. Wildlife authorities were called and they managed to tranquilize and capture the rampaging monkey. For her 60th birthday, Noel Weaver gifted his wife Pam with a camel. The Australian couple had raised other uncommon pets on their property, despite having developed a close relationship with its keeper. It behaved erratically and at one point reportedly tried to mate with one of the goats on the property. Then in 2007, the animal was wandering loose in the backyard while Pam Weaver was making dinner. She went to check on her camel and was fatally injured. It was subsequently reported that the camel had no intention of hurting the woman. Some animal experts argued that it might have been trying to mate with her. Nevertheless, the woman's body was crushed under the 330-pound weight. Her husband found her lifeless body and noticed hoof marks on her face and arms. The family decided not to kill the 10-month-old camel and saw what had happened as a tragic accident. Number 1. Antoine Yates. For a few years leading up to October of 2003, there were rumors that a tiger was living in Harlem, in New York's Manhattan borough. Most of the locals, however, believed it to be nothing more than an urban legend. Then in late September, Antoine Yates arrived at the emergency room of the Harlem Hospital Center with deep bites on his arm and leg. The 31-year-old claimed they'd been inflicted by his pet pit bull. The sheer width of the bite marks suggested much larger jaws. Yates checked out of the hospital on October the 3rd, the same day that officers from the NYPD approached his apartment while following up on a tip. They heard loud growls coming from inside the 5-bedroom home residence. and decided not to enter it. The police drilled a hole through the wall and used a camera to look inside as one officer rappelled from the roof to look through one of the windows. They eventually managed to locate Ming, the 425-Bengal tiger living inside. The giant feline was shot with a tranquilizer and taken to the animal control transport truck by a team of over 6 men. More incredible still, the officers also found a 5'6" alligator named Al living in one of the bedrooms.
What?
The police questioned Yates' neighbors, but they had no idea they'd been living in the same building with a tiger.
And
There was even a running joke about how much chicken Yates was eating. The part-time cab driver was actually feeding the chicken to Ming, about 20 pounds of it every day. Stranger still, Yates rented rooms to people who would eventually find out they were sharing the apartment with a tiger. All were terrified at first, but some reportedly grew fond of Ming.
All right, bro, this is a great video. Let's talk about that last one real quick. Bro, if I rented a room and I found out I was sharing an apartment with a tiger, I want my money back, and I'm calling 911 on you because you put my life in danger. Now, that's crazy right there, though. That's crazy. Great video. Thank you guys so much for requesting it. They will kill you. You guys had a great video, bro. Shout out to the gang. Everybody have a good day. Have a great day. I gave my reaction throughout. You already know what's up. No need to talk about it. It already was a fire video. We all watched it together. Click the link down below. Check out my music video, bro. Trust me. Peace.